for those that came in right on time. I was a little early, but I just wanted to mention to you guys what we're going to do is I'm thinking we're going to do a three-part series on this foreclosure stuff since it is kind of uh, it takes a little bit more work. We're going to show you right now the first portion, which will be finding the lead, making sure you do get the right lead and somebody that when you do knock on their door, it's urgent. They definitely need your help. So that's part one, and then part two will be kind of scripts and what Carly was able to put in the resources tab, which is going over the script when you make the calls and you reach out to these people. And then the third part should be about um, the different strategies on how to stop foreclosure. So we're going to go through it that way, and going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and show you guys exactly how I do this. Again, this is just my strategy. It seems to be working. Screen share. Okay, is everybody seeing my screen?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
It's
Alrighty, so what we're first gonna do is, guys, put in the side chat, pick a county in Florida that you guys would like me to just get looking at. I see Graham. Graham's talking about Tampa. Let's just go straight to Hillsborough. It's the first one I saw. So what we'll do is, I'm gonna do this on the fly so you guys see that it's not Hillsborough County Real Foreclose. Real Foreclose is usually the platform that I'm not gonna say most counties with a decent population are using for their foreclosure auctions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the auction calendar. We are today, May 27th. We're gonna go out 2 weeks. The reason we're gonna go out 2 weeks is because if I decide to pick somebody that is getting foreclosed on Tuesday or Wednesday, are we really going to raise that money quickly? We probably won't. So we want to choose something a little bit further out that's more manageable, that gives us time to actually back up our word of helping these people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 2 weeks out. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one. There's only one today on June 12th, 1208 North Armenia. I've already got it pulled up here. So what I do is I take that address and I put it into Zillow. When it's on Zillow, I kind of get just a brief Zestimate. Just take a look at that. You can comp it on Privy. You can use whatever source you like to comp and see what the value is. Um, Home's a little funky, but it's nice. It's waterfront. Got a really nice outdoor patio, sunroom. I love these spiral staircases. So yeah, we've got this property, and then we're gonna go back into Real Foreclose. We're gonna hit case. Everybody following along? Put a one in the chat if you are. Good, thanks, Rick. Okay, so we hit the case number tab right here. This should pop up. It's going to give you everything that's been recorded on that property. We're going to hit this blue button here. And here's the documents that have been recorded. Hang on one second. Let me try and mute somebody. Goodness, man, are you constructing your office? Everybody, if you could please mute. If you're hearing me, please mute. All right, so we're back here in the document. Once you're in this document, what it's going to say the final judgment of foreclosure, value claim, and it's going to show you the amount due. This amount due is what the bank is requiring. We've got a total sum of $455. Now that we see this, we've got a number that we know the bank will be satisfied with, and we go back and see what the actual value is, or at least similar. So we're in the range. We're in the 680, let's say worst case 625, 650 ARV. Does this not look like a wholesale deal? Bring somebody that's got some cash, that's looking to invest, look for a quick fix and flip property, add your assignment fee, and you've got a deal. Does that make sense to everybody? Am I going too fast? Let's see what you guys are saying. We're good? Too fast? Yes, Catherine, no problem. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do this a few times. Yeah, Salt Lake City, I'm not sure, Olivia. We're doing Florida. So Florida, um, their platform that most of the auctions are based on is a platform called Real Foreclose, and then every county puts their auction properties in that platform. So I'm gonna go back and do it again. Um, we're gonna go to. Let me just start all over so you guys can get it. Hillsborough County. You're gonna search for these words. Fill whatever your county you're looking for in Florida. Remember, guys, we're talking Florida. Whatever county you're looking for, county real foreclose should be one of the first few links. You'll always know by this here. It's going to say whatever the county is, real foreclose. Click your county, click the auction calendar, and go 2 weeks out from whatever the day that's green right now. So we're going to go June 3rd, 10th, and then we'll go to Monday. Only property there is 12208 North Armenia. Look at the assessed value. The county knows the assessed value. It's usually off, but at least they're close this time. So you've got the case number, you've got the address, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this address just to make sure that this assessed value is actually not spot on. It'll never be spot on, but close. I take this address, throw it into Zillow, and see if it's listed. You can see if maybe the owner's trying to do a last minute hoorah where they do a FISBO. Who knows? You throw it into Zillow and it'll tell you what's going on. But on this one, it seems to be thinking that he's going to get out of this thing. It says 683 here, so we go back to the real foreclose. We click the case number. I'm going to get out of these. Click the case number. We pull up the last one, the last recorded document. When you scroll down, it'll always have the plaintiff, and it'll have who's the defendant here. Keep scrolling. I just quickly scroll by. I don't care who the owner is because I'm going to end up skip tracing it anyway. So just scroll right past all this stuff until you start seeing some numbers. And here, page, I think it's 2. Yeah, at the bottom of page 2, it's got the total sum. This is due and owing to the plaintiff, amount due. We're at 455. 455, subtract that from 683 and you've got your spread. Find a buyer, and then you can start dancing. How do you find seller info? Contact. Okay, let's run an extra step here. We're gonna go real foreclose if you want. Once you know that it is a deal, you did the subtraction, you do an estimated value minus what the bank wants, and it looks like you have a spread. What we'll do here is we're gonna go to the county. Hillsborough County property appraiser. I use prop. I'm taking the long way for you guys, but usually I just throw it into PropStream and I know everything. But we'll go the long way here for you because these are free websites that you can use instead of having to pay for it. Type in 12208 North Armenia. Once you've got the address in there, it's going to pop up the owner's name. It's an LLC. Now you guys are going to get to see something interesting. Me personally, when I see an LLC, Sunbiz will tell you who owns every LLC, usually. And most people don't really know how to hide their names the way Pace teaches everybody to do. So more than likely we'll find the name. Luckily, we've got good backup. We've got people that teach us well. 12208 North Armenia Ave, LLC. Here we go. Oh, he did it right. Okay. He's got a manager. So generally you do this. What I'm going to try secondly is if I can't find the name here, probably first step that I would do should have been this, but I wanted to show you guys something cool. True people search. I'll do a reverse address. Reverse address 12208 North Armenia Ave. That was Tampa. And we've got a name. So we've got a couple names here. What I usually do is I just start clicking and seeing what name pops up the address that we're looking at. Now we know the owner. Mel E. L'Esperance. We've got the phone number. Look at the last reported. And I always try and call wireless. Sometimes it'll say voice over IP, the VoIP. It'll say landline. Usually you don't connect on those. When you hit the wireless and it says last reported, that's probably their number. Click that. And now you move on to part 2 of the series, which would be the scripts and going through all that. But if you guys go over to the platform, when you're in here, remember guys, you have all the scripts. Go over to the resources tab. When you click resources, the script for calling foreclosures is already here, guys. So put it to use. Carly's already put so many different resources in here. Just put it to use. You would call them, see what they need, see what's going on. Tell them you found them on the list. I'm just calling to see how we can help. Always come from a place of not like I want this deal or I'm trying to give you cash. Like more of how can we help? Then let them guide you where to go. Douglas. Okay. Everybody hearing me? Douglas is saying there's no audio. We're good. Thanks, Rick. Graham, other liens on the property? There could be. There could be. But if you see there's a good amount of spread, there's ways of looking at liens on the properties. Personally, I use PropStream. Take a look at this. I mean, I'll just go ahead and show you guys. I'm probably not supposed to do this, but I will. Just give you, I'm going to open my book to you guys. I am not promoting PropStream in any way. It's just something I personally like to use. It is $100 a month. It's a platform that's a little more expensive than Privy, I believe, but I really like the details of it. We've got the LLC name that pops up. I wouldn't have to go to the other site to look for it for Sunbiz. I've got the mortgage and transaction history. Seller take back. This one's interesting. Something happened last year, but at least you know exactly what happened. And you can kind of gauge from there. But we've got a 770 loan balance. And I believe, what was the bank taken on this one? I think it was 480. 455. So there you go, guys. That's one. I would love to give you an example. Maximum allowable offer. Really, it's up to your buyer pool. There's some buyers that are willing to go up to 75% because they believe it's a nice enough home where they can probably fix it up quickly and still get their profit out. Some people like the 60 to 65 range. Just truly whatever you'd like to. And also remember, when you're doing these ranges, you always want to put your assignment fee in there so that when you sell, it's not on top. It's all included.
So that was my question. So in that example that you had, you see how much they owe to the bank and you see how much it's listed on Zillow. How would you structure that? Like, I'm new, so I don't know how I would even like approach that as far as what's a good number or what would be deemed as a deal. I know you said the buyer pool, but should I shoot for what's listed on Zillow, go off that number on, or should I do comps? Like, how would I do that?
If you want to take the time, comp it out. Maybe you have privy, maybe not. But I always go by a Zillow estimate just because it's in the range. I mean, I personally I could go very detailed, but I'm not going to hit as many leads as possible. Um, Remember, when you do what your job right now as a baby elephant, you're not going to be placing an offer on these properties. You're just going to start the conversation and hand it over to somebody that's a little more high level, that's going to be able to maybe they take the comp it out perfectly so that they can give an exact number to the seller. But for right
Okay.
now, for the time being, for the initial conversation, just try and get as many reps as you can in, and just go by the Zillow estimate.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I got a question there. So,
Yeah,
so the banks owed 455,000. So that's all that's needed to get that deal,
yeah.
even
According
though
to
the
them.
house is worth 600,000.
And that's all they want. That's all the bank wants, unless there's other liens and encumbrances, which you'll find out later on. But yep,
And the seller doesn't really have anything to say about that, right? Because it's already in foreclosure.
it's
So,
already in foreclosure. So actually, you have actually more of a convincing story to give them when you speak to them because you can say, hey, the value of the property is this much. Don't overinflate it because then they're going to be all, hey, I've missed payments for the last 2 years and now I want 100,000. Like they're going to be ridiculous. Just say there is a little bit of room. I will be able to give you some cash before the bank takes the property. If you let me help you, let me help you.
uh,
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. All good, Douglas. No worries. Donna, other liens, mortgage, tax liens. That's when you go a little to the next level. I personally like PropStream. I really enjoy that. They show everything. PropStream likes to show if there's a down payment assistance, if there's an equity line, a second position or a third position. But there's several different ways. I'll go over that in another one. So Rick, catching up that you're raised on something like this, you might. There's some situations where you can. Some banks won't allow it just because it's so last minute. But if you catch somebody, let's say, actually, let's run through a different one. 2 weeks is enough time. You could put some funds together, especially on a deal like this. That's a screamer. You got a $200,000 spread. You bring that to a wholesaler. You can throw a $20,000 assignment on that as long as the rest of the property is clean, not conditions, but as far as liens go and all that, David. But there's a decent amount of spread there where, yeah, you could get some funds quick. It's once you're in this group in creative finance with Pace, the money is not the issue. We've got money. If you partner up, and that's why he says squat up, deal squat up, because if you bring a deal like this to somebody inside of the group, we will find the money. Don't worry about it. Nancy, you talked them into a short sale with the bank. It's not going to go well for you. We're talking a few months out, and it probably won't go through anyways. I wouldn't suggest that. Let's Rick, let's try and find. It might take me a couple houses, but let's try and find something that we can possibly sub to. Oh yeah, yeah, Nancy, I've done plenty of short sales successfully. Just in situations like this, when you're picking up a property, do you really want a short sale or do you want to just grab a quick 20, 25 grand? You know, you can get an assignment, you can get it pretty quickly, you can help the homeowner out. And then the short sale is kind of like you're putting a blemish on their credit. It's not really not the best option for them. Yeah, exactly. It's an option. Alex, you have one we can sub to? Or you want to find one? David, not all of them. Most. But of course, you always use a title company to do your title searches and all that. Let me stop screen. Well, let's go through another one. Let's get rid of all these. Do you guys still want to hit Hillsborough, or do you want to go to another county?
Yeah, Lee County.
Lee? Let's do it. Oh, that is Lee County. Okay. I didn't think they would base. Usually with more rural or suburban areas, they don't use the real foreclosed platform, but we're good here. Lee County, we've got the 27th. Remember the weeks. We are in June. So remember, with these deals, anything 2 weeks and under is probably going to have to be cash. You could probably sub to as well, but it just depends on the lender. But let's just go another 2 weeks. Now we've got a month. They're not going to be as urgent, but you'll find deals that possibly you could bring the arrears current. I wouldn't bother with anything that doesn't have an address, but you've got plenty to choose from here. Let's go with the first one. Let's go with 4628 Jane Avenue. Are you guys seeing the screen? We're good? Great. 4628 Jane Avenue. Lehigh Acres. My first girlfriend in Florida was in Lehigh Acres, and I was living in Orlando. What a maniac. Why would I drive down there? All right, here we go. We've got 319. Let's go back to here. Hit the parcel. Let's look up the document. I don't know if Lee County is going to be as friendly as the other ones. It's not as easy as the other ones. Maybe I hit something wrong. Yeah, I hit the parcel. Always hit the case number. See, counties like this are never easy. Feel free to unmute yourself if you're seeing something I'm not. Here we go. I am copying the case number from the auction calendar, throwing it in here. I am not a robot, although sometimes I do feel like one. And there it is. But see, this county doesn't let me click, doesn't show me any documents. Whoever asked me to go to Lee, have you ever searched it? Have you been able to pull up the docs?
Yeah, I see it. No, I live in Collier County, and I'm just looking for deals in like Lee County and in my area. So I just was curious.
I'm sure there's a way. It just takes a little more time.
Yeah, I'm actually able to scroll down the page. When you go down the page, then it'll have a whole docket on the left-hand side. It's got all the documents. There they are down there on the left. And you go by the date.
Value of claim, maybe this one. This could be it. Total estimated value of claim, 138,924. What was this puppy's address? 4628 Jane. And we are at 319's estimate. We got some cushion here. We've got some food to eat. Do you see how that works? Thanks whoever chimed in.
You're welcome.
What do you guys think so far? On the first two, we've got a huge spread on both deals. Yeah, you would. Let's go the same. Let's go the whole way. We can grab their name. Who is the defendant? See, this is what's annoying. We'd have to go to each one. Lee County Property Appraiser.
I think it was on that last document that you were looking at, right there, Defendant Ronald Guillen.
Here we go. Okay. Or you could always just do the shortcut and throw the address here. So we know it's Ronald. Let's throw the address in here. 4628 Jane. Jane Ave, Lehigh Acres. There he is. Make sure the address matches the name. We've got a phone number. Yep, and you go ahead and call him. Here's your script. Easy as pie. No, I'm not gonna reach out. Honestly, man, Rick, I'm trying to make sure that this is just for lead sourcing. I could reach out, but I'd rather make it on a solid weekday where we can go through maybe like, I don't know, 10 leads, 15 leads and start calling, because it does take some time. If I start calling right now, we might waste some time trying to find one. Remember when we were going back and forth? By the way, guys, Rick is a baby elephant. He reached out to me. He took action. I taught him how to do it on the side. Not only I haven't taught him this part, but I've taught him some other strategies. And he's pushing. He's already sent me 1 or 2 leads, like solid leads. So guys, don't think that because this is like you can do it. You can jump in. You could just take action like Rick is. He's sending me stuff and just go for it. Just stop overthinking things. Yeah, man. Script up. Yeah. You can also, like I said, go over to the resources tab. Let me show you. Here, we go here on the left side. There's the resources here. Go to your resources. Script for calling foreclosures. Take a picture, everybody. Five, four, three, two. What would I offer them? It depends on the situation. Feel them out. See if they're. This is where finding the bunnies is the most important thing. You guys really need to find the bunnies before anything, because you're gonna already have all the ammo. Pace has taught us a way to, before you even jump in the call, I don't suggest doing this for every single one because you're not gonna reach as many people. But once you feel like you've got a decent lead like this, like the last 2 we've had, it's more important to find the bunnies than to see how much, than just straight ask them how much they want to their pocket, how much they want to move out of the home. The reason I say that is because you don't know what somebody else would want. You don't know what someone else's response is. What if you're going to offer them $20,000 or $5,000 and they were willing to give you the house for free? They just didn't want their credit messed up. You shot yourself in the foot. Could have gotten it for less. So to just give a blanket, what would you offer them? I say it's all situational. And I know you guys hate that answer, but it really is. You don't know what someone's situation is, what family issues they're going through, what job issues they're going through, health issues. Ask the questions, make conversation, be a human. You'll get further. Any other questions? You guys want me to run through a couple more? Different counties. I could do this all day in all different counties in Florida. How often are you finding that they are being bombarded with calls? They don't tell you right away. When I've made my calls, they're opening to listen to at least my first two lines. And then I'll either get a click or I've heard this before, nobody's really helped, and I'm fine. It's never going to be like, yes, please help me. It's not going to go that way. You're really going to have to actually, you got to have a gift for gab. You got to have some words to tell them. And that's why I say, have that human connection. Because if you don't have that human connection with them, you're just another robot. You're just another phone call. If you can just lower that guard down, now you're going to get into the gate. After we speak with them and they sign a contract, do we go to the bank? How so, Paulette? Once we get them under contract, depending on when the auction date is, we go and look for the funds. And yeah, in the meantime, while we're looking for the funds, we call the bank. Usually they'll have an attorney that you can call, and they're more. I used to think that they wouldn't talk to you. They're willing to talk to you. They just want their money. So when we call the attorneys for the banks, just give them a buzz and say, hey, what does this person owe? I've acted as a neighbor. I've said, hey, I'm calling for my neighbor. She asked me to speak to you and see how much she needs to raise to get this offer credit. Things like that.
So you can stop it from going to auction if it's a couple weeks out?
Yep.
Okay, so if it's set for auction, there's a date, you can still buy it before that auction date.
Before the date, yeah.
Oh.
But you'll have to speak to the attorney, and usually the attorney's number, let me show you guys. Usually, I'm not sure if this is even going to work. I'm probably going to, it should be here. There it is. Call them. They will verify this number, the estimated value claim. Mention to them the property address. First thing they're going to do is ask you, what's the property address or what county is this in? They're not even going to ask for your name. Right away, you're going to notice that, okay, I can be anybody. So that's how you'd find it. Oh, Jesus. Baby elephant in Northwest Florida. This may be a silly question, but I see most people looking at Florida as a buy box, but they are mostly looking at Central or Southern Florida. If the spread is still high like that, do you think I will still be able to find buyers in Northwest Florida? There's buyers in Northwest Florida. There's a bunch. I know a lot of people that like the Amelia area, Jacksonville, Jax Beach, a little bit south. There's buyers. Yeah, Katrina, we'll do one more. Marcus, if the house has that much of a spread and there is still 1 month before the auction, why not list with a realtor at a discounted price? Marcus, with your question, let's say I'm a realtor myself. If I were to go to this person and approach it, if I still had my broker mentality, which Pace was finally able to break, thank goodness, and I broke it with just 7-8 months of digging into the community. As a realtor, you're automatically like, oh, let me go list this property because it's got spread and I can make my commission quick. You could make so much more on assignments. You can help them in a much more quicker, efficient manner through these creative strategies. You take the realtor hat off. You could list it. You could do all that. But you're going to get 3%. You're going to get maybe a cash offer in a couple of weeks. Maybe you'll get Oh, for example, let's say you get a cash offer as a realtor in a couple weeks. You got 3%. Or you could have taken your hat off, gone and looked for the same buyer, and make an assignment fee of whatever you want, as long as it makes sense. So, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to start thinking from inside of the box that we've been built in. It took me a while. Trust me, it hurts a little bit. uh, but yeah, I would take my realtor hat off. I wouldn't try and list it. Um, just try and get as much money as the seller needs. Not what you're willing to offer, but what the seller needs to move on. Because they're already in pain. They haven't done anything. If they wanted to list it and get out of it quickly, they would have. Or you could even, if you want to be a really nice guy, go ahead and tell them, why didn't you sell this traditionally?
Hey, I got a question about like the step-by-step process.
Yes.
So just like on this last one we looked at, we see there's a spread there. We don't know at this point if there's anything else that's on the title.
We don't.
And so we would go in, try to work out the deal with the seller,
Correct.
and we come to terms with them, whatever that is. We find the bunnies, or, we figure out a strategy to help them get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then are we going to get some kind of contract with them at that
Yes.
point? Is that the goal?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And then we're going to try to find an exit strategy for the property.
Yep, whether it be an end buyer that you're wholesaling to, or you can find someone that's looking just to rent the property, fix it up and rent it and hold it. There's a lot of different strategies, and you're going to start seeing, guys, that flippers are going to start shying away from things after the next couple months. For right now, everybody's a little delusional. If you buy a property right now, you need to move quick. If you're going to flip this thing, you got to fix a house in 45 days. And good luck with the two houses that we just saw. That was some pretty decent damage. I'm not going to lie. They're nice houses, but you're not going to flip it in 45 days.
Okay, so then as the wholesaler, I guess in that situation, we do the assignment.
Mhm.
We wouldn't get paid on this deal until title. The buyer would have to come to the table. That's when other problems could surface. So the deal breakers would come in at that point. I'm just trying to figure out how to do all of that like in a condensed period of time. It
Mhm.
seems like 2 weeks is still like short to get all that done.
It is. It is short, but you've got a client that immediately needs help. Where if you were to catch them at 1 month, they'd say, "I've got time. I don't need you." So we're putting ourselves in a position to perform. We've got to work. We've got to, it's not, don't take it lightly. So yes, you've got to start moving on that deal. I personally make friends with title companies. There's title companies out there that'll run a quick Gator lien search in 24 hours or less. So just shoot them the address and see what they say. Some title companies will give you a discount if you're doing multiple properties.
And do they
But
need to be in that area, or they can just be
any title company in
anywhere?
Florida can do it for any
Okay,
county.
gotcha.
Yeah. Let's do one more. Graham says St. Petersburg. Joseph says Duval County. And Katrina says Lee County. I didn't really like the way Lee was going. Duval's got a lot of HOAs. I'm going to go with St. Pete. Let's go, Graham. Traditional real estate deals go down to the wire almost always. They do, Douglas. Yes, they do. Broward, St. Pete. Yeah, let's go check out St. Pete. It's the weekend. Let's get some good vibes going. What am I doing here? Let's get out of all these. I am not screen sharing. You guys are looking at my face. Sorry about that. I mean, I'm not sorry. You guys got lucky. Here we go. Can you guys see my screen? We're good? Great. All right, we're going to go to Pinellas. Real foreclose. Auction calendar. 27th, 3rd, 10th. Here we go. Let's go with this one. 2262 Dartmouth. Head over to Zillow. Looking at 456. Nice little house. Needs some work. Also, guys, remember to don't just use this and don't just go by what I'm telling you. There's also little details that you can do. You can go over to price history. You can go to listing history here on the side of Zillow. You could see if maybe they just tried to put it on the market and they lost. Remember, the history will tell you a lot about what they were trying to do before you jump into the call, and that's just more ammo for you to use. 226, 450. Mute yourself, please. Case number.
Because if I call him, this
Oh, Lord.
is when you got your cell phone, got minutes to watch it, right? So sometimes they were calling when you got the customer, and they would
Who
suddenly
is
they
talking?
answer the phone,
Can anybody help me out with the
and
name?
then I would suddenly see one of the white people come using the wrong because they realize that I'm patient.
TE.
And if they don't see him, they will come out. So
All right, back in business. We pulled up the document. Okay, guys, so sorry. I'll just flow with it. We're going to go to Google Pinellas Real Foreclose. Click the site, click the auction calendar, go 2 weeks out, hit the parcel case number. We'll hit the case number. We'll pull this up. This is the last recorded document. Check the value on Zillow. Estimated value is around 450. We're going to wait for this to load. And let's see what the bank wants. This is the judgment, SunTrust Bank.
You have to zoom out.
It goes through pages here. Let me see. Yeah, it's not zooming out.
It's on page 3.
Thanks. We are looking at there's no way. And it's due June 13th, 2023. 61,000. What are they behind? Principal due on the mortgage. Wow, they only had 43,000 left on their mortgage. All right. They only had 43 left and they couldn't pay it. And now this is what it's owed. This is what it's worth. As you can see, guys, some people really don't know what they're holding. They don't know the processes. They're in their job. Their family hasn't really advised them, or they don't have family to advise them. They don't have friends to advise them. Guys, there's people that are in need. Look at this, 450. They're foreclosing on that tiny little bit. I'd say I would comp this again. I would personally go somewhere else and comp this, but it is St. Pete. I'd say, let's say worst case scenario, it's like 250, 300. We're still looking at this. What do you guys think? Let me pull up the chat. Yeah, she's right.
I have a question. In a situation like this, could it be that there was a loan modification that is not on the record and the amount could be greater than this?
Could be. This is why I use PropStream. PropStream likes to pull up everything that has been recorded. You're going to hear me talk about PropStream to death, only because, guys, for months, I was trying Privy and Privy and Privy, and it's beautiful and nice, and it's actually a beautiful platform, but it's for comping, in my opinion. If we're going to go to Sub2 and more detailed searches, not just very surface level, I would use prop. Just my opinion. 2262 Dartmouth. Now we could see exactly what's going on. Again, guys, I'm not advertising for them. I'm not making millions of dollars for saying prop 50 times on the Zoom. Mary Carey. We've got a 5.6 rate, 75,000. She bought in 2004. So that does make sense. It does have a variable rate, so you'd probably just want to buy it off and give her some cash. I'd personally bring probably 60 grand to the table on this deal, fix it up, and you've still got an awesome deal. You've got a slam dunk. I bet you guys are trying to take pictures of these addresses right now. Just remember, there's so much to go around. There's so many of these. Yeah, it could be off. It could be. I personally, I'm a realtor. I used to hate when people would say, "Oh, the Zillow estimate is this." Like, no, it's not. But we just need to get in the range for the purposes of making multiple phone calls. You don't want to be digging into each single property like one by one, and then you make the phone call and you're like, "Okay, I've got the perfect deal," and they hang up on you in the first try. You just wasted 20 minutes searching and doing all the digging and all this and that and the tit for tit. Like, come on. This is like a numbers game. This is a conversations game. Start talking, pick up the phone and dial.
I imagine some of these people would just literally be homeless if they lost a house, so they probably don't want to give it up.
They probably don't. So help them keep it. That is such a low amount of debt that the bank wants. You could probably work something out where, shoot, you buy it and lease back to them. They don't have to move. You can help them out, put them into a credit program. I don't know. There's so many different strategies where you don't necessarily have to buy a property to make money. Yeah, Graham, help them go through a loan mod. That'll be your down payment for them. Switch title, or don't switch title, but put them through a loan mod, advise them, show them what a loan mod does. Loan mods are $3,500. Don't just offer money, guys. Offer help. Offer help. See what they need. Ask them if they have funds to be able to do it themselves. And if they don't, then worst case scenario, you're coming in and you're helping. COVID assistance, that's really died out here in Florida. Never lease back to the original owner? Yeah. I wouldn't, just because they're probably not going to pay your rent. They're already not paying the mortgage. This is just such a small amount, and this is probably an older lady. I bet you it's an older lady that doesn't have much family. Let's look at this. 2262 Dartmouth. I just have a big heart to a fault, and it kind of is annoying. Ave North. Jeez. There's so many ways where you could help somebody like this out. Mary Carey, 95 years old, guys. Here, look at this. Sorry, I didn't realize you just looking at my face going nuts. Oh, see, this breaks me, man. This is her address. This is her age. This is all happening because she has no one probably advising her differently or helping her. If you're in St. Pete, go knock on this lady's door, guys. Go help her. This is what the game is about, guys. For us, it's not really a game, but it's more of like we know how to find help for these people. Yeah, David, it could very well be that she passed. I'm not I'm not one that is good at looking at the obituaries and finding if they've passed or anything like that. I've never had to do it or never done it. But yeah, Alex, she's situations like this. If you're in St. Pete, please somebody go knock on their door. What's the time frame on this thing? We're looking at June 13th. There we go, guys. June 13th. If you want to start the summer right, go help somebody. If what's recorded, address is 2262 Dartmouth Ave in St. Pete. Check on the lady, guys. Check on the lady.
So just looking here, I have found one final judgment's like $5,700 on a house in Lehigh Acres, and its assessed value is $260. So they're losing it for $5,700. The HOA is filed against them.
It's the HOA, yeah. On the small amounts, it's usually HOA. It could be the payments that they missed, and the bank threw it into the back of the loan. A lot of houses went through that during COVID. Yeah, Doris, I just pulled it up on Google. Search your county or whatever county you're looking in and type real foreclose after it and go 2 weeks out on the calendar. What happens if the owner has passed? Bring it to a substitute student that can help you out. It gets a little deeper. You want to start hitting the family and finding next of kins and see where you go from there. Anybody else want to chime in? That was a pretty solid 3 or 4 houses that we just looked through in, 30 minutes, 22 minutes. Oh no, when did we start? It's almost been an hour. Guys, this was supposed to be half an hour. Oh man. You can do this all day, all weekend, and you're going to find people that need help. Welcome, David. Alex, I would slap whatever your fee is on top of what you have to pay the owner, on top of what you have to pay the bank, and make sure you're under 70% so that you can find a buyer. The buyer needs to make a spread too. Yeah, Deborah, it's being recorded. Welcome, Doris. Welcome, guys. Yeah, Eric, I hope this was helpful. Vincent, the first thing I would do is go knock on that door and check for health. Check for health. Forget creative, forget strategies, forget business aside. Go check on this lady. Tori, I put in the Florida chat. If you look in the Florida not the accountability group, but in the Florida chat, I threw in a loom on how to look for the recordings. Well, guys, it's been an interesting Saturday morning. That was quick. Another question. Hang on. If the interest rate is low, say in the 3s, can you wholesale it as a sub-2 deal? Absolutely. Absolutely, Alex. If the bank will allow you to bring the arrears current, yep, take over the loan. Let's save some loans, guys. Really, the name of the game here is try and keep these low interest rates in play. If we keep erasing these, if we allow the banks to keep foreclosing on properties and erasing them, traditional buyers coming in, grabbing these high interest rate loans and erasing them, they're dwindling, and guess who's winning? These banks. I feel like Pace is building an army to try and save these loans, and it really takes a giant community to do it, and we're doing it. I want to do that one with, I have the arrears are so much, like 100,000. I don't know where to get the funding. Don't ever say, I don't know how to get the funding, Alex. If you've got a deal, hit us up. We'll find the money. Good. All right, guys. Well, my neck is hurting. I'm a little stressed from that last one. I hope you all guys have a great Saturday, a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Check on your people. Hug your family, hug your people. Remember what this is all about. This weekend is meant to honor those that helped us out. So make sure you do that and do it in the right way. Yes, you can party. Yes, you can go to the beach. You can do this. You can do that. But remember the people that were there way before us. Those in their 90s and turning 100, late 80s. They laid the groundwork for us to be able to do what we're doing right now. Remember that. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Peace out.